Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and it's time to talk about The Walking Dead. So this is the third episode of The Walking Dead this season, and so far we are, chronologically speaking, no farther along than we were at the end of, well, just past the end of the first episode, which is actually the end of the second episode. So we haven't done a whole lot of timeline progression, but a lot of stuff happened this episode. I'm going to say right now, if you haven't seen it, you don't want to be spoiled, do not watch this video. This is your chance to click away, because from this point forward, there will be spoilers. A lot of stuff happened. So the episode started off, as you might expect, we're back to the Rick side of things, and we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. What are they going to do about the horn? Because they're actually starting back to the horn again. So by the end of this episode, they're going to be kind of caught up with the end of the second episode, and then we'll be moving from there. So we have to deal with more whiny people from Alexandria complaining about Rick and not liking this and not liking that, and not being able to carry their own weight, but having lots to say, which is getting really annoying for me. Luckily, it didn't last very long this episode. That was a good thing. It got annoying, but then it was fine. And then a lot of stuff happened. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of zombie fighting. No wolves. Well, there's a couple wolves in this episode, but not until the end. So the Rick guys have to do some stuff, and they're doing it. It's mostly kind of not interesting what's going on the Rick side right now, because the people are still in the car, and then we still have Daryl on his motorcycle with the car people. But he splits off to do his own thing, and then he ends up coming back to them. So far, Daryl hasn't done much of anything this season, which is probably pretty disappointing for a lot of you guys, and myself. I do like Daryl. I made a comment about Daryl in the other video, and people thought I didn't like him. No, I was just making a joke. Daryl's one of my favorite characters, and actually we'll talk about that in a little bit. But he hasn't done a whole lot yet this season, so I'm hoping he actually gets to. He had some cool scenes with the camera panning and him on his motorcycle, which was cool, but didn't really do much. Glenn had a heck of an episode this episode. He did a lot of stuff. So Glenn is split up from Rick. Rick's going to get the RV. I don't remember why. I guess it doesn't really matter. He's going to use it to get the people back. I think he's using it to get the people back to Alexandria. And after they lead the herd away. Maybe I missed that part. We'll see. That's not entirely important for this episode. So Rick splits off. He runs to go get the RV, and he tells Glenn and Michonne to get the rest of the people back to Alexandria. Avoid the zombies. The half of the herd split off to follow them, and half of the herd is still following the car. Or not to follow them, but to get to Alexandria. So he tells Glenn and Michonne, you guys get back, do what you have to do, survive. If these crappy Alexandrian people suck and fall behind and they end up dying, leave them. Don't die because they're going to die. You can't help them. Try to help them, but if you can't, keep going. Of course, one of the Alexandrians doesn't like that, and they get all bitchy about it again, which again is getting really annoying, but finally I think after this episode, we're not going to have to deal with that anymore. Finally, I'm getting tired of that, but that's a good thing. So they're leading them back. They end up in this city that's like halfway through, and so Glenn ends up in some trouble. And he decides it would be a good idea for him to work with Nicholas, who is proven to be kind of a butthole. He hasn't exactly helped a whole lot, and he's caused some serious problems, both prior to our main heroes showing up, and still currently, especially with Glenn, and what was Everybody Hates Chris's character's name? I can't remember, but he got him dead. Anyway, so Glenn decides, I'll go work with this guy, everybody else go do your thing. Bad idea. Not only because just everything went wrong, but this guy... Okay, so I'll jump to it. Glenn and Nicholas end up cornered by a whole small herd of zombies, and Nicholas decides he can't deal with it, so he shoots himself. And somehow by shooting himself, he pulls himself and Glenn down off of this dumpster into the herd of zombies. And it's shot in a way that makes us think, well, obviously Nicholas is dead. He shoots himself in the head. Glenn gets covered with spray. But it makes it look like Glenn's getting torn up, getting just eaten up. Now here's something that I noticed, though. I haven't watched The Talking Dead. I heard they mentioned something about this because somebody called me right afterwards. I haven't watched that. I don't really want to watch that because I like to talk to you guys before they either try to trick us or not on that show. So it looks like, to me, Glenn is getting eaten for the way it's shot, but he's not like yelling or acting like he's actually in pain. He looks more upset, which is, and it's a particularly graphic getting eaten. Like, there's sausages everywhere, there's jello, blood, fake blood, whatever, all over the place. So it's a little strange to me that he's not making any reaction as if he's in pain. So it's possible. There is a possibility, unless they say something on The Talking Dead, which is on right now, it's possible Glenn's not actually dead. That being said, even if he did fall down and Nicholas guy fell on top of him and they're eating that Nicholas guy, there's still 1,000 zombies right there, and Glenn is stuck underneath them. So it would be pretty miraculous for him to not be dead. So if you are a fan of Glenn, it doesn't look good for you right now. Unfortunately, it seems like Glenn's probably going to be dead. For me personally, for a little while now, Glenn has been, he's still a likable character for me, but he hasn't been too important. I haven't cared that much. For me, there's 4 characters that I still care about, which are Rick, Michonne, Daryl, and Glenn's wife. What is her name? I just lost the name. Anyway, those 4. Those are the ones I care about at this point. So Glenn dying, other than the fact that he's one of the main characters and I used to like him a lot, didn't do that much for me. You guys can let me know what you think. I'm curious to know how other people see these characters developing. For me, Glenn lost a lot of his mojo in the past season or 2. So it wasn't that big of a deal for me, but it still kind of sucks that he died in a pretty crappy way, assuming he is dead. Nothing really happened. The other guy killed himself and just knocked him over. So if that's the case, that's a little bit of a bummer. So now we can talk about the other main thing that happened. That was really, a lot of stuff went on, but not a whole lot of story again. They're really slowing the story down, which I guess is fine, because the episodes themselves are really good. Lots of action, lots of stuff happening, so I'm fine with that. It's not a problem. But as far as the actual fiction plot of the general overall story, we're moving very slowly. So other than Glenn dying, not a whole lot happens. Rick does get back to the RV, and once he gets a certain distance, he gets attacked by some wolves. Not animal wolves, the people with the W's on their forehead. I'm not sure if these are the wolves that... why can't I think of any names all of a sudden? As soon as I get on camera, I lose all their names. Morgan let some guys go at the end of the last episode. They took a gun and left. I'm not sure if this was that group of people or not. Timeline-wise, it seems like it might line up, but I'm not positive. Anyway, they attack Rick. Rick ends up killing 2 of them, sees that more are coming around the side, he kills them, so that's fine. Rick can handle himself. Speaking of, he had a really cool scene with a machete and a little bit of a fight scene, so that was pretty nice. And Michonne did a lot of nice sword work, so the zombie fighting was really good again this episode. So Rick kills a couple more wolves, kills another batch, they sneak up on the side, he shoots through the RV, kills them, no problem. RV is now dead, end of the episode with a bunch of zombies coming toward the RV and Rick getting a little bit emotional. So that's a little disappointing, but that's also where we're at with the story. No progression as far as Alexandria, as far as the wolves or any of that. All we know now is that they still are leading the herd away in the car and on the motorcycle, and Rick is stuck in the RV with a bunch of zombies coming, and Glenn is dead. Probably. Michonne's on her way back, but that's it. So, we don't really know. We do see the Alexandrians that are with Michonne kind of realizing that they can't be little whiners and suck at everything anymore. They have to realize that Rick's crew knows what they're talking about and they need to listen to them. But other than that little bit of a development, and Glenn dying, and Rick in serious danger, apparent danger, that's it again. No story, which generally speaking, it's not a problem. I mean, we're getting these really good episodes full of action and full of lots of things that happen. There's just no overall fiction. So it depends what you like. For me, I think it's okay. I would like a little bit more progression. Hopefully next week we can get past this little Groundhog Day timeline of these first 3 episodes and just kind of figure out what's going on with Alexandria and with the wolves. And with Rick and everybody, obviously, individually. But I would like to get a little bit more story into these episodes. Keep the action, but a little bit more story also. It's just a little nitpick. It was a good episode, a lot of fun to watch, and like I said, Glenn's death didn't really affect me, so maybe that's why I like the episode. I guess a lot of people are probably going to be upset. Didn't bother me too much. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Let me know what you think is going to happen to Rick, and let me know if you also think that Carl should die, because that character's not that enjoyable, and I like to mix that in every once in a while. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know again what you think And I don't know about the live episodes yet, as far as me talking about the show. We'll get there maybe. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned next week for another episode just like this, right after The Walking Dead. And let me know what you think is going to happen in the episode. Thanks for watching.